After we left Himmelsdorf, we made our way across the vast plains to a place which is now known as Dead Rail, a once important train rail system that used to transport resources to our old hometown in Himmelsdorf once. We've been able to find a few more supplies along the way, but it hasn't been much. Our hopes in coming to this place was to find more resources, but it appears much of it has already been taken by other survivors. The previous tank we had destroyed luckily had some salvageable parts. We were able to use for our own tank to help improve our own, a little bit, but it wasn't much. We started to grow fond of our metal little home and decided to give it a name to lighten things up. The name we decided was Muffin. Not much of a name if you ask me, but it kept things light and funny during our journey. The more I looked at our tank, it started to look kind of like a muffin. Dang it, now I'm hungry. Anyway, we kept moving through Dead Rail in hopes to find anything we could use along our way. Our engine started to take its last few turns as it cut and died. The last amount of fuel depleted from our long travel to Dead Rail. We came to a standstill as our tank started to sink in the snow a little more. The middle of winter was upon us as the freezing temperature started to climb. We knew we couldn't stay here for very long as we were sitting ducks for anything that might come our way, and we didn't have much to keep ourselves warm. We looked around us to see if we could find any fuel, but it looked hopeless. We didn't expect the train system to be so stripped of its resources. This unexpected turn left us stranded. We kept an eye out and rubbed our hands together to keep warm. It felt like it might have been below zero, but we had no way of knowing. We sat in silence, trying to think of something to do, when suddenly in the distance we started to hear the faint sound of another tank's squeaky tracks moving along the frozen plains. Our adrenaline perked as we knew we were in no position to help ourselves. We intensely looked out our viewports and listened to hopefully gain sight of what was getting closer to us. We didn't know if playing dead was a reliable option, as it seemed like most abandoned tanks that were encountered were either completely stripped or destroyed. Our tank would never pass for either. We knew our only chance of survival was to fight or hopefully scare off anything that came our way. We listened as the sound continued to get closer, but then stopped. We still couldn't see anything. Is it gone? Are we safe now? We thought to ourselves. A gunfire from the distance echoed as we felt the impact of a shell hit our backpack, splitting it apart. We could tell from the sound and feel of what just happened that it was from something stronger than us. The roar of another German tank came around the corner behind us. We found ourselves setting our sights on a tank that was better and stronger than ours. "Do you think we can pen it?" a family crew member said as we began to fire upon the larger piece of... Our tiny shells bounced off, with some being able to pen the flat surfaces. We began to regain hope, but the tank started to angle itself and move around us. "You have to hit this thing while it's moving?" Another shot from the enemy sounded, and it punched right through our sides, damaging our turret ring, causing our turret to become locked. Explicit yells echoed within the walls of our metal home. We heard the enemy tank load another round and take aim at our almost destroyed tank. It was probably the last that our little muffin could take. So long, crew world. You were always a... Anyway. The powerful cannon fired. Seconds passed without anything noticeable happening to us. "Are we dead?" one of us whispered inside. We stood up and looked out to see the enemy tank ablaze next to us. Another tank, just as strong as the enemy, comes around the corner, but this time it isn't German. It appears to be some sort of American tank.